Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Great, great.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Yeah, good afternoon. Hi, Hiral, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. We have completed all of the pre-processes like, ID verification and all of that. And also I have informed the recording process. So I have initiated the recording. I think we are good to begin. Over to you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could you introduce yourself, the roles and responsibility in the current project, and the tech stack you use in the current project, and your
Yeah,
hobbies?
yeah, sure. Currently, I'm working as a backend developer in my current company. That is, so here my roles and responsibility is to getting the information from the product owner and getting those details. As a team, we are converting those backlogs into our sprint, and we are working on those sprints. So most of the work I am doing as a backend developer here. So technology stack is like Spring Boot we are using, Spring Boot microservice architecture we are using. For backend we are using Oracle database. About asynchronous communication we are using Apache Kafka, and like for logging, monitoring and all we are using Splunk as well. Okay, about my hobbies, I used to play cricket in my spare time. Also I like to read books.
Yeah, okay, fine. So I have shared one code repair link. Could you open the code repair link? Also share your screen.
Yeah, sure. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Do you know what is immutable object?
Yes, sir. Once we initialize the object and we want to modify that object, we cannot modify that object. So immutability is something we cannot change the content of the object. If we change, it will create some other object for
Could
us. So,
you create a custom immutable object?
yes, we can create.
Could you implement the custom immutable class?
Yes, here I have to create. I just want to know, shall I create a custom immutable class here in this code?
Below the class.
Yeah, yeah. So first we need to create class as final.
Okay.
Let's suppose I have fields name. So name should, all the fields should be final.
So instead of a name, can you make a department class, list of department,
Okay, list of
and date?
and date. Is that correct?
Yes.
We need to initialize in the constructor.
Yes.
Okay, department is some other class which have some values.
You don't need to worry about the department. Assume it is there in the class path. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Where is the class? Class name. Okay. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This should be the list, and I need to set all those values here. Start and also for date.
It's okay. That's okay. Type it. No need to worry about that one syntax. You just type the syntax.
Create immutable list. Something method is
So why you are doing create immutable list here?
because someone tries to change my immutable this list also. We should not change the content of this list also. But it is a clone. It doesn't matter.
So why you are doing cloning first? Tell me why you are doing clone department.
Yeah, why I did clone for this department, because if we pass a department object, then what happens? Someone can change its content because department is not immutable, may or may not be in the immutable in the nature. So if it is not immutable, if someone tries to change the content of department, they can change.
Now, if I change the department list, what will happen? Why you are doing that one? Why? What is the need for cloning the department list here? Could you repeat again?
Yes, we want our object to be immutable. So whatever the content inside this class, we want to be immutable as well. So that purpose, I tried to clone all those things, and instead of returning actual object, I tried to return its copy of it, so that directly no one can change our actual object.
Okay,
So if we
fine.
change actual object, then it will reflect on this object.
Date is correct. Implementation of get date is correct.
No, it is not correct. Actually I don't know how to set the this date to that particular clone date.
Okay, fine. So what are the design patterns you familiar?
Mostly creational design pattern like singleton and
Builder.
yes,
Have you used builder?
yes. Usually using builder design pattern for
So
complex
why we have a factory design pattern and builder design pattern? When you will choose factory, when you will choose builder design pattern?
Factory means you will create if you want to get some object entirely, and you need not to worry about all the fields, so you can use that factory. But if you want some object that has some special kind of configurations, like in our Spring Boot as well, we have builder, so that we can define most of the variables which we want customizably available to us. Let's say an example, if we have employee object and we need employee object to be created by 3 fields, so in such case we can provide those 3 fields. The rest of the fields we need not to provide, and someday some other people want 5 fields. In this way we can use the builder, so it will create object using those 5 fields. These fields will be available to us.
Will you able to implement the build design button?
Okay, I will try.
No, you are comfortable with build design button, right?
Actually, I
So what,
implemented a
so what are the design buttons you're comfortable?
singleton
But apart from singleton, which design button will you use?
part.
Okay, will you able to implement singleton design button?
Yes,
Do it right below the new class.
I will create private constructor so that no one can access outside it.
Okay.
I will create a static.
If I subject this class into multi-threading environment, how will you handle it?
Yes, for multi-threaded environment, we can use synchronize. We can synchronize this method, or we can directly synchronize block. We can use double check.
So, okay, go ahead.
Here also there is a chance for breaking.
Why you are doing? Okay, do it. Go ahead.
Here also I need to check once again whether the object is null or not. If it is null, then only it will initialize. When a simultaneous thread may come, so it is a chance some other thread will initialize it. So if it is already null, then only we will initialize.
So why we are having a null check above the synchronous block? What is the use of that?
So this it will come after checking this whether the object is null or not. Okay, so it will
That
come.
you are already doing inside this synchronous block, right? Why are doing outside synchronous? We not just do blindly, right? There is a reason for that, right?
Yes, yes.
So what is the reason?
So let's try with the scenario.
Or try with scenario.
Yeah, so like two threads are trying to access this method and try to initialize it. So one thread already came here and it will check that is null, and for second thread also it is available till here. So two threads will check and those enters into this block, okay, here, and after that, because the code and this block is synchronized, so it will allow one thread at a time. It allow only one thread at a time. Here also that thread came here and tried to initialize it, and what happened?
Now, my question is, what is the purpose of if condition outside the synchronous block or above the synchronous block? That's my question. Have you ever implemented singleton design pattern in your program?
Yes.
On which scenario you implemented? On which use case? Could you give me a use case for singleton design pattern where you use singleton design pattern? On this use case I have implemented.
Yeah. In my earlier project, we are creating database connection related things where we have used singleton data source.
So you will create a singleton data source.
Yes.
Okay, singleton data source. Okay, after that what you will do? How many connection class will singleton or is
connection will be multiple, but single data source is required.
Okay, singleton data sources. Okay, fine. Okay, now you explain me what is the use case of if class above the synchronous block. Do you know what is the purpose of that while you're implementing?
Yeah, a null check. If
Null check, we already doing it, right?
Yeah, double check is required for
what reason?
Yeah, because if we are not defining, let's try in this way.
Okay.
If we are not checking here, so directly thread came here, and here if it is not null, then it will initialize, but still there is chance of breaking it.
Still there is a chance of breaking it, right? No, there is no breaking chance, but why you need if condition outside the loop? That's my question. You think if this code will break now, it will create multiple instances?
It is not looking like it will create multiple instances in multi-threaded as well.
Okay. Do you know what is the purpose of serialization?
Yeah, serialization is converting our object into byte of stream, and if we want to persist and save that object into file or somewhere, or we want to transfer into the network, then it would help us. Serialization, deserialization we can do. Serialization also can break singleton also.
How will you solve that serialization concept? How it breaks and how will you solve it? First, you tell me when you serialize and deserialize, how it breaks a singleton.
Okay.
Explain the concept.
So whenever we are trying to serialize it, create my singleton object, serialize it and save into the file. While deserializing, one method is there to avoid this.
No. First, you tell me what is the concept, why it breaks a singleton when you serialize and deserialize. That's my question.
So a singleton is like only one instance of it. It is required, but in the case of deserialization, we may get some copy of it. Like while deserializing, we are converting the byte of stream. We are getting back our object from byte of stream. So in such process, what happens? There are chance to get a clone of it. So because of which it breaks that singleton.
How will you solve this issue?
I think we have one method.
Okay.
It is always
as if there is one method is there. Okay, what you will do in the method?
Here I will throw an exception whenever someone tries to create a clone. There I will throw some exception like clone not supported or something.
No, we're not doing clone, right? Are you doing cloning?
No, if you want to create the object, it means that
when you will throw clone not supported exception
or something like that, where also I will return the same object. If
assume the method name is read. Okay,
Okay.
read result, something like that.
Read
Keep.
result. Yes.
What do you do inside that method?
Inside this method, instead of I will return this same object.
Okay, fine. Will you able to implement build a design pattern?
I forgot, but yeah, I will try my best to do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Employee. Inside this employee builder class.
See, we are using builder pattern to create the employee actual object, right?
Sorry.
Or we are using a employee builder to create employee object, correct?
Yes, yes.
Then is it right to pass that argument? Are you worked on the multi-threading?
Multi-threading. Yes, I work.
Like, have you worked on the executive framework?
Executor, not that much, but executor framework for my understanding purpose, I have did some.
You not worked on the executive framework?
Not actually in the current
Okay.
project or previous, we did not get chance to work. Long back, I have implemented thread in my desktop application.
Okay. Okay. You worked on Java 8 features?
Yes.
I assume line number 90, line number 83. We have list of student. Okay. Student class contains like name, mark, department. Okay. You have to convert the list of student into map of department wise student. Okay.
Okay.
So only thing while converting list into map, the student, you have to collect the students whose mark is greater than 35. Okay.
Okay. So this should be list of student. I think it is completed.
Okay. So you know why we are calling Steam as a lazy evaluation?
Yes, because lazy. Why? Because if we are not performing some terminal operation, it won't execute all these filter and intermediate operation. Once we started the terminal, then only it will start all the execution. That's why it is lazy.
Okay. Have you used enum in your project? Enum?
Enumeration very rare actually. Yeah, in my earlier project we have used for the records, like if we want some values instead of the some master kind of data, we can store into the enum.
Okay. So assume you're going to create on order service class. Okay.
Okay.
So what are the design principles you'll follow to create order service class?
Order should be the table in our database, and what would be the functionality of it?
What are the design principles you'll follow? Don't think about functionality point.
Okay.
How will design your class?
Design principles, like solid design principles we are following. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Could explain what is solid design principles?
Solid, like the class should have single responsibility.
Okay. Okay.
And
Go ahead. You know.
yeah,
Okay.
and then we have
Okay. Go ahead.
L for O for I will get back O on later. Let's talk about Lisco substitution. That is, instead of providing the class, instead of we can provide the super as a reference, and we can use class as a child. So that is called Lisco substitution.
Oh, what is super? What is class here?
Super interface, and let's suppose I have this order service class, and I have one interface here, order service interface. So instead of directly referencing the class, I will refer its interface to be reference and the class name as a object. So we can use reference of our interface, and we can use object of our class at right side. So that is Lisco substitution. And
What is I stands for?
inversion control,
Okay. What is D stands for?
D for dependency inversion. And
What is I stands for? What is I stands for? Okay. Explain what is D, dependency inversion.
yes, yes. So dependency inversion means, instead of tightly coupling, I mean to say, like we are creating object and we are responsible for it. So instead of us, some other place, if we are able to get the object, like in Spring, what happened? Instead of we are providing the object, automatically we are getting that particular object from our container. So that is called as dependency inversion. So for loose coupling purpose, we are using in the class. If we loosely coupled, let's say we have this order service class and it has some other object need to be created. So instead of we creating object by using new keyword, some other container will provide us using auto keyword. That is dependency inversion.
Okay.
O for open close, I just remember the class should be open for modification and close, and
Open for modification.
and open for like if you want to scale, open for scale, and close for modification, something like that.
What are the libraries you use in your project? Third-party library. Any other third-party libraries used in your project?
Current project, third-party libraries like Spring provided most of the libraries, but currently I'm doing some migration work. So here, like Jackson and
Okay.
one more library which is required to run our.
What is the purpose of Jackson? What is the use case for Jackson you're using?
Actually, it was conflicting with some other library because I'm migrating from one older version to newer version. So it was conflicting. So that's why I've used. So the internal working, like let's see this object. If we want to convert into a JSON, so it will provide environment for us so that we can convert this student equivalent JSON for us. That I know. And apart from that, third-party libraries.
Okay. What are the collection framework you use in your project?
Yes, collections like most of the time ArrayList and HasMap we have used.
Do you know how HashMap internal works?
Yes.
Do you explain it?
Yeah. So HasMap internally works on the concept of hashing, we can say. So what it does, it store key value pair. So we have map, and map we have object that will store as a key, and with respect to key we have object. So we have buckets in the HasMap internally. So each bucket will start from 0th index till, like, let's suppose the size of HasMap is 16 initial size. So it will create 15 bucket for us. So when we are performing some put operation on map, so it will calculate hash code based on the object, and whatever the hash code we are getting, let's suppose we are getting some hash code and it will do some mode by capacity. So we will get definitely in between 0 to 15. So let's suppose we will get 2, and it will store that particular object into second bucket. And again, if we are getting the same bucket number or same index, then it will append as a linked list to the next node. So like this it will perform, and similarly for get operation it will do the same thing. It will check the index and get the element from the linked list.
What are the data structure they use in HashMap?
Data structure,
Internal data structure they use in HashMap.
that is hash. So for a bucket it is a array, and internally for storing the element it is a linked list. And now Java 8 onwards it is using a balance tree to store the elements.
Okay. We have a HashMap, then why we are going for concurrent HashMap?
Yes, so like if we have multi-threaded environment and we have HasMap there, and we are performing put and get operations, so what usually we'll do, will synchronize this HasMap and then we will perform operations. So in such case what happens, it will lock entire HasMap, and thus the performance we might not get that much performance. And in the case of concurrent HasMap, unlike it will create different segments for our HasMap, and whichever the segment we are putting, that segments only logs, and other segments will available for us. So that's why it is more performance efficient. If we have multi-threaded environment, we should use concurrent HasMap.
What are the types of iterator they used in HashMap and the concurrent HashMap? What kind of iterator they used? Do you know? The HashMap, what kind of iterator they used? In concurrent HashMap, what kind of iterator they used? Okay. Do you know what is the difference in fail fast and fail safe?
Okay, yeah, fail. Yeah, so they use fail safe in a concurrent hash, because they are working on the clone, not on actual object.
Fail safe they use in concurrent HashMap.
Yes, fail fast in this HasMap.
You worked on the messaging broker, right? Asynchronous call.
Yes, Apache Kafka.
Apache Kafka. So do you know that we already have a JMS queue, RabbitMQ and all, right?
Yes.
Then why we're going for Apache Kafka instead of JMS and RabbitMQ?
JMS and RabbitMQ, what I observe, like for one producer it has only one consumer, I think, and in the case of Apache Kafka we can have multiple consumer for one producer. Apart from that, Apache Kafka will store our messages into the disk, and that is very robust and durable for us.
So what is the main advantage of Apache Kafka? Why you are choosing Apache Kafka?
First, our use case was to provide multiple subscribers or multiple consumers to it. That is the one thing.
Okay.
And second thing, it has very low downtime, and
so downtime is kind of okay. Go ahead, replicate. What is replication here?
Yeah, replication means in distributed environment we have multiple copies of it, and
we can do in the distributed environments. For we can have multiple copies. We can do it in RabbitMQ also. We have a cluster. We can do that, right?
Yes. Here also we have cluster. I think it has some inbuilt functionality to do those work.
So assume there is one producer and multiple consumers. How the supply meets the demand? There are too many consumers. I think that's the case, right? So here you are the only one producer. Okay, there are 5 consumers. Okay. then that means more demand than supply, correct?
Yes.
Because 5 consumers expect value. How you will handle it?
Okay. So
Basically what I'm saying was,
so it has like
if the
partition.
message will go to all the consumers, the message will go to only one consumer.
Message will go to all the consumers. So I think.
Are you sure?
Yes, because it works on the partition. So
what is the difference between consumer and consumer group?
consumer and consumer group. So consumer group have multiple consumers in that, and consumer, it's only one consumer we are configuring.
What is the use of consumer group?
Okay, group always support, like if we have consumer group, and if some consumer is down, other will take care of it.
That is replica set that we can do through replica. So we should go for consumer group then, correct?
Okay.
So you discuss about partition, right? Why we are going for partition Kafka?
Yes. So see, in the topic divided into multiple partitions. Let's suppose we have 5 partitions for one topic. So what happens if we store every message into same partition, then it would be difficult us to get simultaneously those things. So if we are storing message into different partitions, so simultaneously we can access those messages easily. And also for we want some order management. Yeah.
Come again, could you repeat again if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. So partition, like simultaneously we can perform operation on the multiple partitions. Like we have 5 partitions for one topic. So if we have one topic, then we can access only one topic at a time. But we have 5 topics, then we can use those simultaneously. And apart from that,
partition topic is inside partition?
No. Topic is broader, and inside the topic we have partition, and inside the partition we have offsets.
So what is the role of offsets?
Yes, offsets nothing but we can say some index kind of value we are getting. So we are storing message in some offset level. So let's suppose current message is stored in 101. So if we are pushing some other message, that will store into next offset, that is 102. So there we will get that message.
And what is topic? What is partition?
Yeah, topic consists of like these partitions. Okay, yeah, topic is usually a name for which it's a location, we can say, where generally we are producing and consuming those things, and we can configure a topic, and by topic only we can communicate to these partitions, and this it's a message broker, I think.
Yeah, how many partitions we can have in a topic?
It's depend on the requirement. In my current project we are using 5 partitions for one topic.
So is it? Why are you going for 5 partitions?
Yeah, it's depend on the performance. After performance testing and all, we analyze that 5 partitions are enough for our work. So
how we are achieving a performance by increasing the partition?
By increasing the partition.
You said after performance analysis you go for 5 partition, you said, right?
Yes, actually our requirement is
just now you said you will go for 5 partition based on the performance analysis, right?
Yes.
My question is how you are deciding number of partitions, on what factors you decide number of partitions based on the performance. What my question was, how you can increase your performance based on the partition. How are you increase your performance? How the partition plays a major role for the performance improvisation?
Like partition, whenever a message coming to a topic, then it will have some algorithm to generate the partition index, so which partition it has to go. So so
my question is not message going to which partition. My question is how the partition plays a major role to improve to impact the performance, to improve the performance.
One thing I can guess, like if we have multiple partition, then we have like different folders in our disk. Okay, so in that disk we can have the messages stored. So if we have more number of partition, that would be like if we are storing in the same folder like multiple data, then it would be overhead on it. So if we have multiple, then we can store, we can divide our messages size.
Then I can go for 100 partition. It will be easy, right? Then I should choose 5.
There also one drawback also.
What drawback? Nothing drawback, right? Instead of one folder, you'll keep 10 folders. So we are sticking to 5. See, if you have 10 folders, again you split up into multiple. The object will be one in each folder. Only less number of objects will be there, right?
Yes. But then when fetching, it would be difficult. Like if we are fetching the message, then it has to search.
Okay. You tell me offset within the partition. The offset is common across the partition. It's unique to the partition.
Offsets are unique to the partition.
The reason we split up the partition, one is to improve the performance, as you said correctly. Yes, to reduce the latency, to get high throughput. But the partitions, it depends on the number of consumer you are having. Okay.
Okay.
If you have 100 consumers, then you should go for 100 partition. Each partition should have only one consumer.
Okay, that's why we have 5 consumers. Okay.
You have 1 consumers, right?
Yes.
One wrapper, you might have 5 consumers. So if data flows into partition. If data is pushed to a topic, you have 100. Assume you have 5 consumers, right? All the 5 consumers will get a copy of the message.
Yes.
Are you sure? Because you are pushing to one partition, right? Correct.
Yes.
Data will flow all the partition. Data will flow to one partition.
At the time of reading, consumer will be able to access all the.
Assume. Okay. There is a request come to your class. Okay. So your class leader will receive the request and he'll distribute to your classmates. Okay. Assume there are 10 classes will be there.
Okay.
Each class contains 100 people.
Okay.
All the 100 people will be the consumer, right? For the request, correct?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Or we can say like this: you have one service, and assume you have a order service. Order request comes in the pipeline. Okay.
Okay.
Orders, you to achieve the scalability, you put multiple order service instances, multiple order service instances up and running. So one order request comes. So will the order request will flow to all the order service, or only one order service it will execute? All the order service are a consumer for the particular topic, order topic. There are 4 consumers, 4 topics, 1 topic, 4 partitions. What is right? 1 order topic.
1 topic, 4 consumers.
4 consumers, 4 partitions. We split up because the partition based on 4 consumers, so we have 4 partitions. The order request comes. Now the order request pushed into the order topic. My question is now how the order will be processed by the order service. Order request. Will all the order service will consume that order request, or only one order request will consume it? Will only one order service will consume the request instead of 4?
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So you meant to say
one request comes, order request. There are 4
4
order consumers are available.
Yes. But yeah, actually we have proved that like if we have 4 consumer and if we have if we want to order this, like manage the order of the let's suppose we have an ID of it. This order is to be handled by this consumer. Then only we can manage those things. Otherwise, 4 consumer will consume that.
What is ID?
In our case, we have applications number. Okay, so we are storing that in application in the same topic always by passing some values in header. So it will always store that. So that we can manage the order of the messages. So at the time whatever the consumer it's reading, then it will take care of that.
No.
Okay.
See, my question is very simple. As you said, in the Kafka, we can have multiple consumers. So multiple consumers will receive the message, right? All the consumers will receive the message, correct?
Yes.
Then a order request is pushed to order topic. Order topic contains 4 partitions because we have 4 consumers. 4 order consumer is there. My question, that order request will be processed by one order consumer, all the order consumer.
All the order consumer.
Then the order will get duplicate, right? 4 order will get processed, right? Then 4 order will be placed, correct?
Correct.
I placed an order in a Flipkart. He placed only one order, contains one Redmi only order. But 4 phones will be ordered at the back end, right? Then it is a bug in your application, right?
Yes.
Then what is the use of 4 consumers in Kafka?
So
that's what then there is a Kafka system design itself wrong, right? How they will solve this issue in Kafka?
So that is specific message to available to a specific consumer, you want to say?
How they will how it is possible to order request somewhere it is generated, right? How is specific to which consumer, how it will knows. We can't. So how you will do that? You tell me. Because order request is generated by the user, right?
Yes.
You will just send some JSON value, right, to the server, correct?
Yes.
From the UI will pass JSON server. This so order any. That's it. With the order item ID and so on the details. That's it. Even order ID, even that time there is no order ID also, right?
Yes.
Order ID will be generated when you process the order details, correct?
Yes.
That's what order consumer is waiting for that order only.
Okay. If we have some mechanism like we can read that particular partition only, then only we can do this. Like let's suppose one order I'm placing and that should be in the first topics. Then consumer one will consume that message only.
No. Okay. That's what the consumer group comes into picture. Consumer group, okay, you can have multiple consumers. If we say only all belongs to one consumer group, then only one message will be pushed to one consumer group. Okay. So other consumers will not process their ID, that request, because it's assumed that only one should process that request. If someone picked up, other consumer will just be idle. It's wait for other request.
Okay.
You go and refer what is consumer group and consumer group ID.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Actually, we haven't configured only consumers, not group. That's why I don't have this idea.
Consumer groups, they not disclose this thing, but the consumer groups plays a major role.
Okay.
So I do make it process. Okay, you worked on the database?
Yes.
Assume there is a DB table you have. Okay. The table grows enormously in short span of time. Okay. Now, any query you perform, whether it's a create or update or insert or delete, the table takes a lot of time because the table size is huge now. Okay. That's a performance impact on the table.
Okay.
So I am your client. So I tell that Rakesh, Could you help me to solve this issue? How you can help me on this one?
Okay, so performance impact, like we can use indexes for the table so that the read will become faster. Generally, what I did in my earlier organization, we had the same issue, like our query was taking much time to provide the result. So there we have added indexes. So by that we are able to solve this performance issue now.
Sorry, come again.
Indexes we have added index.
So do you know when we can create index?
Yes, if we are searching some like, let's suppose my name is and I want to create with my name, so so that if someone search my name, so it will be faster, and so in that case I will create index for my column.
Okay. If you, what will happen when you insert and you delete a record from the index table which has index?
Listen becomes slow because it has to delete the index as well, I think. So, but delete operations are not, they are rare, and fetch operations are oftenly we are doing.
How come you decide? You are a DB administrator, right?
Yes.
The deletion, soft delete, hard delete taken by the architecture, correct?
Yes, yes.
Assume they are chosen hard delete.
Hard delete, like, yeah, it has to delete the index as well. The index will take, but
Then
for
it's the right solution to use index on a transaction table.
okay, on a transaction table, no, I don't think that much.
Assume what will happen in array list? In array, if you remove if you delete a value from in between, what will happen to array? Assume you have a
Yes,
thousand,
it will suffer all it will adjust all
the records, right?
all the records, yeah.
Wherever the gaps, it will fill up, just pushing the record to that
Pushing
one,
the
right?
records, yes.
That is not the right one, right? Same case for index also applies the same, right?
Instead of that I will try to implement one more thing, like we can create some logical views
So
for patching.
in the logical views, views replica of table, right?
Yes.
Then if I perform a query on the table, it will take, assume that same views also contain same, right? Same number of records, right? I'll have an impact, right? When you put a select query.
Okay, so select query, we will limit that query. Like if we are selecting the
Can we
element, then we
create index on a table? Can I create index on a view?
yeah, we can create, because select index is not physical, so we cannot create item. They are logical, because index required some non-cluster index are logical also.
Then going on view is not the right solution, right?
Yes, yes.
Because to improve the performance of the table select query, I should need index. I should put index.
Yes, one more thing we can do, if we are, let's suppose we are fetching all the elements, instead of that we can fetch can provide some limit like 10 elements at a time.
That is pagination. That is pagination concept.
Yes, yes.
I'm not talking about pagination concept. I'm talking about, don't think about API part. I'm just thinking about querying the data itself. It takes a lot of time, I'm saying. Okay. Any other way apart from that index, apart from view. Okay. Do you know what are the types of isolation level, transaction isolation level we have JDBC?
Yeah, the transaction can execute with this isolation level. Like we have 6 isolation levels we have. So we can run our transaction based on those isolation.
What are the isolation levels?
Because we have some issues with, I think we have the default. After that we have repeatable rate is there, and last one is serializable, I think. So isolation level is serializable is higher, and other 4 we have in between. Like if we are running some isolation, like we are using that isolation level, we will get the performance, but there is a chance we might get the wrong value in that. So that's why
which isolation level we should use?
Which isolation will be?
Which isolation level do we need to use?
It's depend on the which type of data we have. So based on the condition, we should use the isolation level as well. Directly we cannot use serializable, because isolation is high, it will reduce our performance.
Who told that? Then multi-threading environment in the transaction, you have multiple thread will work, right? Then how will you achieve the data consistency?
If there is a data consistency required, then we should use higher isolation level. That is correct. But if there is not such environment, then we can use other isolation level as well.
So what are the types of? Have you opened NoSQL?
No SQL.
MongoDB, Redis,
MongoDB, and that is just I did POC for that.
Do you know what is CAP theorem? So you worked on the JVM collections.
JVM.
Yes.
JVM collections.
JVM internals like garbage collection, JVM.
Okay, yeah.
Have you worked on the garbage collection? Do you have idea on the garbage collection? Do you know where the heap resides in JVM, JDK 8 and JDK 9, 11 now? String pool resides.
String pools. Okay. String constant pool is a different memory. I think it is a part of heap now, I think, in JVM 8.
So what are the types of garbage collector?
Types of garbage collector. Are you talking of mark and sweep algorithm? We have Now they have improved the,
That is algorithm, right?
yeah,
Types
yeah.
of garbage collectors I'm talking. That is the algorithm we use inside the garbage collector.
Yeah.
So what is mark and sweep? What is mark and sweep algorithm?
Mark and sweep, like those objects reference are null. It will mark all those objects, and sweep means deleting those objects from the memory. So
Okay.
first it will mark and then it will sweep.
Okay. If you sweep happens, there is a space will occurs in the memory, right? Memory heap, right? Then why? Then how they'll collect the memory? What are the? Do you know what are the types of algorithm? Sorry, garbage collection collectors. We have garbage collectors. Do you know how what are the regions in a heap? How the heap regions split into multiple regions for the garbage collection point of view? We have a heap, right?
Yes.
Heap region is that. So garbage collections divide the heap into multiple regions. You know what are those regions? Have you used any performance tool like JMeter, those things?
JMeter in our team used, but I did not get chance to work on it. Yeah.
Have you used J Profiler? So how will you say there is a requirement that we need to increase the heap space for your service? How will you increase the heap space?
Okay, so you want to know the memory if it is required, then we have to increase the heap space. So I think these tools we can use for those things. Even
I'm not using tools. I don't want to use tools. While start the service, I want to allocate the memory. Right now, we allocated 1 GB, but the 1 GB is not sufficient, they are feeling. So they want to increase to 2 GB. How will you do it while start the service?
Okay, at JVM level, you want to increase the memory. Okay, some attributes are there.
Yes, what are those attributes?
XX something minus XX, and there we need to provide the memory in the bytes. Can increase that, updating those attributes, and we can have more memory.
So you write JUnit test cases?
Yes.
What are the framework used for writing JUnit?
Currently we are using Mockito.
How will you mock an API call using Mockito?
Yeah, if you want to mock an API, like we are getting some, like we have just ping. Okay, just we want to mock this service. So we have
Assume you created a mock object. You
annotations.
created a mock object. No, you assume you created a mock object.
Yeah.
Now there is a API in the mock object. You need to mock that API call. Will not. That's what a mock it or mock object does, right? Let me explain that what you need to do. Line number 114. Okay. Scroll down below. Now you're going to write a test case for a class object A and method for do process. You're going to write test case. Okay. How will you write it? This is a very simple one. Write a test coverage for do process method.
Do process.
Is it correct? P is a mocked object, right? How will you get the value? You already mocked that object, right? B. Then how will you get the value? Best by calling that one. Will your call goes to actual one? Is it correct? This is correct. This is fine. I'm talking about get object.
Okay.
B dot get object to calling, right? Where the call goes.
Okay, that object goes here, and we are getting this object.
Okay, fine. So you worked on this.
Yes.
That's all from my side. Any questions you have?
Yes, sir, I have question. May I know the project and technology stack?
Technology stack, so Java, Spring Boot, microservice only.
Okay.
The thing was in Java, you are good in good. Concept is fine, but you have to understand our concept thoroughly. That's fine. But you are okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Upfront feedback from me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will take it as feedback and I will improve definitely.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.